Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but it turns out World of Warcraft players really like their mounts. Now, seeing as I'm somewhat new to the WoW community, when I first heard about this, I was like, really? I mean, mounts are okay, but personally, I'm more of an Almond Joy guy. Yeah. No, but seriously, ever since I entered the world of Azeroth, I've been hearing about these creatures of legend that can carry you around on their backs at staggering speeds, decreasing a player's overall travel time, and making them look really cool while doing it. So, of course, I knew that I had to get my hands on one. There was just one problem. You don't actually unlock mounts in Classic WoW until level 40. And if you don't already know this, it takes a decent chunk of time to get there, especially if you're not using any leveling guides and have no idea what you're doing, or if you're just really bad like me and you die a lot. Yeah, that doesn't really help at all either. Oh, also, it costs like 80 gold, which for new players, that's kind of a lot. So initially, the thought of acquiring a mount of my own sounded like more of a pipe dream, something that was beyond my reach. However, slowly but surely, I've climbed my way up the mountain that is the Classic WoW leveling experience, and recently, I came to the realization at level 35 that I was actually getting kind of close. So I decided for this video, we are going to do what MMO players do best. We're going to grind it out. This video will not end until I reach level 40 and finally unlock the coveted, the almighty, the all-glorious Classic WoW horse mount. So ladies and gentlemen, strap in, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. No, actually though, maybe go to the bathroom real quick, grab yourself a drink, and get cozy, because you're in for quite the adventure, my friend. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, if we're going to reach level 40 by the end of this video, we have some serious work cut out for us. There's absolutely no time to waste. Oh crap, how do I get out of this thing? Not only do I need to level up, but I also need to figure out how to acquire 80 gold so that I can actually buy the mount. We left off running around Stranglethorn, mindlessly slaughtering all of the wildlife, and guess what? We're going to be doing a lot of that yet again. There's not like a Classic WoW wildlife protection service, is there? Because if there is, yeah, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. Now, one of the nice things about being a YouTuber, especially for you guys watching, is that I can turn long, drawn-out menial tasks that take hours in real time into short little segments that occur over the course of a few seconds. For example, I can say the phrase panthers, tigers, and raptors, oh my, and boom, just like that, hours of killing countless innocent animals have passed, and I'm able to return to the jungle encampment to turn in some of the quests. Oh, and I also completed a quest called Bad Medicine. Basically, there's this guy named Colonel Kerzen that used to be a talented and noble soldier from Stormwind, but after leading an expedition into the Stranglethorn Vale, he lost his marbles and fell victim to some foul magic, becoming possessed by a powerful ogre mage named Myzoth. So yeah, now he's one of the bad guys. While many of his men stayed loyal to him, there was a small group of soldiers that band together and rebelled against him, hence why there is now a rebel camp in the northern part of Stranglethorn, which is where I picked up this quest. Apparently, he's got a bunch of healing support from his medicine men, and if we're ever going to take him down, we need to infiltrate the compound and steal the medical supplies so that we can use it to heal our own forces. So that's exactly what I do. After I'm done, I return to the rebel camp, hand it in, receive a follow-up quest from Sergeant Yoa, and of course, she has me going right back to the place I just came from for a follow-up quest because, well, this is Classic WoW, and that's just how we do things around here. What the heck is a Kerzen head shrinker? That sounds interesting. Anyways, where was I? Oh, that's right. Destroying the local ecosystem. At this point, I'm really close to reaching level 36, so I figure why not just top off real quick at this raptor spawn area. Unsurprisingly, a fellow adventurer named Hurricane takes notice of my incredible magical feats of power and wants in on a piece of the action. Of course, being the kind and generous soul that I am, I tell her to get lost and find another mage to mooch XP off of. No, just kidding. I understand that us mages can be a little bit selfish with our AoE power farming. There's not always enough mobs to go around, so we team up and I help her get all the raptors that she needs for her quest. Now, right before I hit 36, we end up parting ways, and most of you might think, nice, he's almost level 36, just kill one more grouping of the raptors and that'll be that. End the session on a high note, go get some sleep, bada bing, bada boom, easy, right? Well, not exactly. I decide to take a little look-see over this hill here, and what do you know? It's a band of blood scalp trolls. I should be able to take them out, right? Wrong. I miscalculated, as I so often do, and end up dying. At that point, I'm just annoyed and say, screw that, I'm going to bed. But that's okay, because let's be honest, who wants to level up to 36 off of some measly blood scalp trolls? Talk about lame. Everyone knows that there's only one mob type that you should ever level up with when you're about to hit level 36. The legendary Stone Mob Basilisk. Oh yeah, baby. One level down, 4 more to go. Real quick, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more future stuff. And as always, a huge shout out to my Patreons for supporting the channel and keeping it alive throughout these creative works. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Seriously, these videos are not easy to make, and you guys really help keep me motivated during the long hours of writing, recording, and video creation. More information on how you can support the channel at the end of this video. So after reaching level 36, I waste no time paying a visit to our good friend Janaea. And it's a good thing I do, because I get some massive ability upgrades. An increased fireball. Let's go. Oh, baby. Sweet baby Jesus. Guys, this is amazing. Blizzard rank 3. I am so happy to see that. And not only that, but I get to pick back up with the mage class questline. This one is called Return to the Marsh. Apparently, there's a hermit named Tabitha in the Dustwallow Marsh that I'm supposed to go and visit. I'm not going to do that right now, but keep this in the back of your head because we'll return to it later. Right, next up, I head to the cathedral, replenish my supply of runes of teleportation, and run into this guy named Archbishop Benedictus. Holy crap, dude. This guy's on some steroids or something. He's huge. But yeah, I turned in a quest to him that I guess I completed at some point. Honestly, I don't even really remember what it was, and the reward is pretty much useless to me, so yeah. Oh well, now back to the question about how I'm going to afford my new mount. Well, for anyone that didn't see the previous episode, I happened upon a super lucky rare drop, a blue wand called the Starfaller. As much as I really want to try it out, the community told me that it would be more valuable for me to sell it rather than to use it. So after much deliberation and a few tears shed, I decided to put it up on the auction house for 24 gold and 50 silver. By far the most expensive item I've ever sold in World of Warcraft. I guess now we'll just wait to see if anyone wants to buy it. In the meantime, back to Stranglethorn we go. And actually, I didn't have to wait very long at all because someone buys it within a matter of minutes. I guess that means I probably undersold it, but you know what? I'm not trying to be greedy. A win is a win. And I'm now that much closer to being able to purchase my new horse friend. So I'm not complaining. On my way back to the jungle, I have the bright idea of trying to find a shortcut over the mountains, and well, this happened. Again, I thought, did they like put that in there just for fun? Like just a... Guys? Gosh dang it, no. It just used my Hearthstone. Can I blink? Yeah, but like that's not gonna F in the chat, boys. I mean, what the heck? Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, Abe, you're a genius. Guys, we're good. Yeah, thankfully, I was able to just teleport out this time around, but still, I gotta learn to watch where I'm going. Now for level 37, I wish I could tell you there was some epic storyline or hilarious encounter, but truthfully, it was kind of just a string of miscellaneous quests and very random decisions on my part. I visit this troll camp, murder a bunch of them and cut off all of their ears, find the venture company base camp where I attempt to collect some of their personal belongings. They're not too happy about that. Decide to rank up my Frostbolt and switch to a full-on Frost Mage, and then travel back to the Dustwallow Marsh. For what purpose, you might ask? Who the hell knows? No, but actually, I want to see, now that I've got my rank 3 Blizzard, if I'm able to power farm some of these Murlocs, since the last time I tried, it didn't go so well. Oh yes, it's absolutely glorious. Look at all those numbers. Of course, all heroes have their setbacks. Mine just happened to be a little more frequent than most. But I got some travel snacks from Nepsy, a bottle of nectar, and cheese, so that puts a smile on my face and gives me just the boost that I need to continue on. So I head back out, kill a bunch of mudrock spike shells for a local chef, because apparently the forked tongues of some of the creatures are a delicacy in these parts. Sounds kind of disgusting to me. And I reach level 37. Huzzah! One step closer to our four-legged companion. To celebrate this forgettable and not so impressive milestone, I decide to head back to one of my favorite spots, the Salty Sailor Tavern, and share my accomplishment with some of my new goblin friends. They tell me they couldn't care less and then proceed to make fun of me when I mention that I don't yet have enough gold to purchase my mount, because apparently they had that sort of cash flow by the time they were 7 years old. Right. Well, anyways, I turn in a few of the quests, chuckle at the fact that goblin fishing poles are actually sticks of dynamite, and receive some follow-up ones in return. Nothing super important. One is to help Krazik collect some bloodstone ore in order to repair a crock pot, and the other is to acquire 18 skull splitter troll tusks so Kabak here can continue with his fake tiger fang forgery selling business. Apparently, it's very difficult and expensive to kill wild tigers, so he's settled with just murdering some of the Stranglethorn natives instead. Of course, we threw out our moral compass a long time ago, so I agreed to it. And holy crap, I just got struck by lightning. Oh, it's just one of the world buffs. Increases movement speed by 10% and all stats by 15% for 2 hours. Dang, that's nice. I also pick up 2 more quests from this guy, Crank Fizzlebub. Love the name, by the way. First, he asks me to hunt down some basilisks and bring him back a bunch of singing crystal shards so that he can sell them for profit. And second, he wants me to acquire for him 12 samples of Zanzil's mixture, which is used to control other people's minds so that he can sell them for profit. I'm starting to pick up on a recurring theme around here. Alright, now that I have a log chock full of nearby quests, let's start knocking these out. First up, collecting the tumbled crystals from the Venture Company base camp. There must be a relatively low drop rate for these items because it takes me around 30 minutes to acquire just 8 of them. Next, I really want to find these crystal-eating basilisks. I'm kind of fascinated by that concept. The quest log says they're along the shores south of Zulkunda to the north, so let's head over there. Oh, they do look really cool. Very colorful. And oh wow, they actually have a bunch of crystals poking out of their skin. Ugh, another low drop rate quest item. This is taking forever. Well, you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, throw them back and demand for an ice cold glass of milk. No, trust me guys, everyone says that. It's a thing. But yeah, so instead of just standing around waiting for the basilisks to respond, there's a bunch of these saltwater crocolisks nearby that I decide to farm while I wait. And by the time I'm done collecting the singing crystal shards, I'm basically level 38. So I figure, why not just finish it off since we're already out here? There we go. Only 2 more levels to go. At this point, I'm starting to get really excited. Not too much longer before I get that mount. Alrighty then, let's head back to Booty Bay, turn in a couple of these quests, pick up another one from Fizzlebub. Of course, he's sending me back out to find him some more crystals. And finally, pay another visit to Janaea to see if she's got any good ability upgrades for me. Conjure Mana Jade, rank 4 Arcane Explosion, rank 3 Mana Shield, rank 5 Fire Blast, dang, and rank 7 Frostbolt. That's legit. Thanks, Janaea. Now, I know this is kind of crazy. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to come off as bragging or being a show-off, but I recently entered into a senior citizen beauty contest and I got 2nd place. Of course, it would have been nice if I had won. I think we all know it was probably rigged or something like that, but hey, I still got 10 gold from it. So I just received that in the mail. And then the other surprise, I must have looted this blue drop called Sutarn's Ring at some point. I genuinely have no recollection of picking it up, probably because I've been farming stuff for hours at a time over the last few days, but anyways, it's actually worth quite a bit. So I put it up for 23 gold, along with a few other items, and fingers crossed, that should put me right around the 80 gold benchmark. With that out of the way, it's time to resume our adventures. Now, some of you might remember way back from my time in Westfall, there was this guy. He was a woodworker at the Sentinel Hill Inn, and he was just slaving away, swinging his hammer over and over and over. Sadly, it didn't seem like he was accomplishing much, but still, I was inspired by his heart, his passion, his determination. Well, I'm happy to say he's still here. He hasn't moved from his perch, and he continues to swing that hammer to this very day. What a legend. Okay, so this next quest is called Special Forces, and I picked it up earlier, but it wasn't really relevant relevant until now. Remember Colonel Kerzen in the rebel camp? Yeah, this is just a little follow-up quest from that. Before, I had to kill the medicine men. Now, I'm targeting some of Kerzen's highly trained forces. Yeah, the weird head shrinker guys. So this should be interesting. It doesn't prove too difficult of a task, especially since I team up with this level 41 night elf named Ruby Ray. And then she asks if I want to become a member of her OnlyFans. So I tell her, no thanks, I'm not looking for a guild at the moment. To which she seems kind of confused. But anyways, yeah, we kill a bunch of these commandos and head shrinkers, and I end up dying because I went in thinking Ruby had my back, but she must have been busy or something. Probably sending messages to her OnlyFans guildies. So I come back, we finish the quest, and then try to take on Colonel Kerzen. Of course, this is totally pointless because I don't even have the quest to kill him yet, but hey, at least this time as I die, I'm able to give a theatrical performance. Ruby is pretty broken up over it, so we try once again, and don't worry guys, this time around, yeah, I definitely die again. You frickin' crit me for 207, just insane. So yeah, that was that. I had to log off and I never heard from Ruby again. But hey, my Sutarn ring sold. Wait, what the crap? Auction house cut, 1 gold and 15 silver? That's highway robbery. What kind of tax laws are these? And yeah, that was it. Nothing else sold, but we're pretty much there. And I still have 2 levels to go before I need the full 80, so I should be good. The next day, I head back to the cave looking for some vengeance, and this is actually kind of fun. A guy named Shim Sneakin actually recognizes me in the game. We decide to team up, and thanks to him, I turn in the Special Forces quest so that I can pick up the next one and actually get credit for finally killing Colonel Kerzen. We're honestly having some great conversation, but then my phone rings and unfortunately, my wife needs me for something. I honestly can't remember what it was, but family comes first. I'm sure a lot of you can probably relate. Thankfully, when I hop back on later, I'm able to group up with not just 1, but 2 new friends, War Imp and Racelock. And at this point, I'm hoping this is one of those 3rd times a charm moments because honestly, I just want to get this thing over with. The good news is we make our way to the back of the cave and take out Colonel Kerzen, no problem. So I do what I do best, chop off his head and throw it in my pack. The bad news is that on our way out, I get a little too cocky and end up getting myself and one of my teammates killed, which leads to me running naked through the jungle. It's actually kind of nice though. The breeze feels good and yeah, maybe I should do this more often. So I turn in the Colonel Kerzen quest, and after all of that excitement, I think it's time to take a breather, settle down a bit, and work on some professions. As most of you know, I chose tailoring as my primary profession, and that's really the only one that I've spent any time on. My biggest holdup has been collecting enough silk, but now that I have some, I get to work and I'm able to progress to 172. Alas, as refreshing as this has been, all good things must come to an end. Back to the jungle we go. My gosh, the amount of times I've had to run from Westfall to Stranglethorn, I swear. Okay, I actually found an interesting quest which I'm pretty excited about, because I feel like it's been a minute. So let's take a closer look at it. It's called Kerzen's Mystery. Colonel Kerzen was once a great noble man. I must find what caused his fall into depravity. He may be under the sway of troll magic. To confirm this, I must study some of their legends. There are 4 tablets hidden within the troll ruins of Stranglethorn. I must see what is written on these tablets, transcribe their markings, and bring the transcriptions back to me. The first tablet is in the Balal ruins, the second is in the Vile Reef, and the 3rd and 4th are in the ruins of Zulkunda. Yes, we got ourselves a little scavenger hunt. Let's go find these tablets. At first, I was expecting some sort of small, discrete stone tablets that were going to be impossible to find, but they were actually these giant, massive tablets standing up out of the ground, so that made it a little bit easier. The first troll legend in the Balal ruins I find quite easily. The second in the Vile Reef was more difficult, so I get some help from a friendly druid named Big Teddy. And for the 3rd and 4th legends in Zulkunda, I team up with a warrior named Fade Striker because there are a ton of troll mobs in the area, some of them being hunters and casters, so yeah, not feeling too confident walking into this one alone. After some time, we're both feeling lost, neither of us know where the tablets are, and some of these fights are getting a little too close for comfort. So I do what I must. I send up a Hail Mary and ask the classic WoW gods for a little favor. To my delight, they're feeling generous today and send us a level 60 she-elf goddess and her pet pig named Bjorn to guide the way. Field Marshal Purplefish is her name. She wastes no time striking down her foes with ferocity and precision, only needing a couple of arrows for every troll. Fade Striker and I stand in awe. It's a beautiful sight, and also slightly terrifying. So after all the trolls are vanquished, I collect the third tablet, we make our way to a different area, and I find the fourth and final tablet. Thank you, Purplefish, for all of your help. You're an absolute legend. When I go to turn in the quest to Brother Nimitz, he tells me that he's going to study the tablets to see if there's some link between the trolls and the evil that has possessed Colonel Kerzen. Nah, there's nothing really helpful in those tablets. I know this because I already read through them all. Just trust me when I tell you guys, none of it really made any sense. And this next quest is kind of hilarious. Nimitz wants me to bring back for him some skull splitter fetishes. Why, you may ask? I have no idea. He just says, while you're waiting, go and get these for me. Nice, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll do it. On my way there, I end up having a very strange but also heartfelt encounter. A gnome lieutenant named Tuan tells me that he'll be going on a long journey far away. He doesn't know when or if he'll be back, so unfortunately, he won't be able to bring his beloved tabby cat named Stifler along for the trip. He came across my pet sitter ad in Stormwind that I put out months ago back when I was looking for some part-time side hustles, and he thought it sounded like a good fit. So, of course, I agreed to watch over Stifler. Truthfully, I'll be glad to have some company. Tuan's only request is that if he doesn't return, to not let Stifler remarry. Okay, I'm a little bit confused by how that works, but alright, after saying his goodbyes and shedding a few tears just like that, Tuan is gone. I wonder if we'll ever get to see him again. But okay, where was I? Oh, that's right, I was on my way to go kill some skull splitter trolls. So yeah, I start cutting down a bunch of these trolls, and actually I still have the quest to collect these tusks for that goblin merchant in Booty Bay, so that's what we'll start out with. And would you look at that? Level 39. Only one more level, guys. We're nearly there. I can almost feel the breeze flowing through my balding head of hair as I ride around on my gallant stallion. Now it's time to make the final push. So I finish collecting the tusks and fetishes, head back to the rebel camp, turn in the quest, and then this next interaction was just too funny. I had to include it in the video. I find myself playing a game of Hearthstone Chicken with this guy named Oki. I have no idea how or why it started, but it was absolutely legendary. Basically, we both just kept pretending that we were going to Hearthstone at the same time, but at the last second would cancel to see if the other guy went through with it. And I could tell Oki was getting a kick out of it as well. It went on for a few minutes until finally we both agreed to actually go through with it. Up next, I decided to finish killing some of these Shadow Mob Panthers while also trying to collect some of these singing blue crystals from the goblins outside of the nearby mine. Of course, they're 2 levels higher than me, so you can imagine how well my plan turned out. After dying a couple more times, I said, screw this, the jungle is overrated, I'm not wasting any more time with that. Let's head back to the place where dreams go to die. And of course, I have to stand next to these two while waiting for the ship. Just look at them all smug and happy riding around in their mounts like a bunch of hotshots. No, I'm just kidding. They were actually a couple of very nice ladies. But anyways, here we are, the Dust Wallow Marsh. Remember that mage questline I received from Janaea a little while back? Well, I'm actually looking for a woman named Tabitha. She's supposed to be able to help me obtain my mage's wand. And it's been a minute, so I could definitely use a little upgrade. The quest log says she's west of Theramore, and I'll be honest, it takes me forever to find her. I end up running around the entire zone, dying, and then, after making my way back over here, finally finding her in this small cottage. It wasn't a total waste though, because I actually find a really nice farming spot nearby that I'm about to show you guys. Wait, what about Tabitha, you ask? Well, my friends, that's a story for another time. One that deserves a little more attention than what we have for this video. I promise you though, it'll be worth the wait. So anyways, yeah, I call upon my mage ancestors, dig deep into my roots, and I do what all of us MMORPG players do best. I grind. It really doesn't take me too long, probably about an hour or so, and it was actually really enjoyable because I had one of my favorite TV shows of all time playing on my second monitor, Community. Shameless plug, this in my opinion is one of the greatest comedy sitcoms of all time. The character development, the writing, the creativity, all of it. It's just so good. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. I promise you it's 100% worth it. All right. There we go, level 40. I'll be honest, it's not the most exciting way to reach level 40. Probably would have been cooler to reach it during some sort of dungeon or epic questline, but here we are. Regardless, I am super excited. Level 40, guys. I've got my 80 gold. I am now finally able to unlock my first ever mount in WoW Classic. Like, this is huge. Okay, so I teleport back to Stormwind and wait a second. Where do I even get my mount? Where might one find a noble steed for purchase? Eastvale Logging Camp. Oh, okay, nice. I know where that is. Let's head over there. Of course, I have to pay a visit to my old friend Remy 2 times in Goldshire. There's just something about this place that gives me all those warm, fuzzy feelings inside. It's kind of strange, because like, even though I didn't play the game back when it first came out, I've already developed my own sense of nostalgia for the human starting zone, which is pretty cool. And I'll be honest, I know I've still got a lot to learn and so much more of the world to explore, but I already miss the days of experiencing everything for the first time. Running around Northshire Abbey, killing kobolds, hearing the iconic soundtrack of Elwyn Forest playing on repeat, dying over and over and over to the Defias gang, just having no idea what I was doing. Okay, well, some things haven't changed, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I guess what I'm saying is you only get one opportunity to experience a game for the very first time. And with Classic WoW, it doesn't matter if it was 2004 or 2024. Either way, it has a way of leaving a mark and claiming a special place in your heart. And speaking of a special place in your heart, I'm not sure if there's going to be much of anything more memorable than my first ever mount. As I approach the Eastvale Logging Camp, giddy with excitement, I take a look around and then I see him. A majestic, brown and white spotted horse with legs that appear to be wearing white fuzzy socks. As I approach, I notice that unlike some of the other horses nestled away in the comfort of the stable, this one is standing near the fence, looking outward at the open forest, almost as if he's longing for freedom, for adventure, to see what awaits him beyond the confinement of these wooden logs. Then he looks at me, and within those eyes, I see myself. Somehow, I recognize him. I understand him. It's difficult to explain, but I know that this horse was made for me, and I for him. There was no real choice to be made. It had already been made for me. Now, there's only one thing left to do. So, I introduce myself. Hello, friend. I think I'll call you Nelson. You and I, we're going to have some epic adventures together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, a huge shout out to my patrons for supporting the channel and helping to keep it alive. I greatly appreciate your continued generosity. If you'd like to become a part of the Patreon family, be sure to click on the link listed in the description below. You can support the channel for as little as $3 a month. Any and all contributions are much appreciated. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.